Hi, everyone, and welcome to StudioJake. I, of course, am your host, Jacob Airy. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I just want to say, hey, I hope you subscribe. Hit that like button, leave me a comment, tell me what you think, and share this video out to all your friends, no matter what platform you're watching on. Before we get started, just a reminder, I write fiction. I have this fantasy series, The Seven Royals. This is the first book. This is the second. They're both available, barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, in digital and print. However, if you want the digital version of the second book, which is Breaking the Stars, it is only available at booklocker.com. I also have this paranormal fantasy book called Cacophony. It's about a group of demons who want to take over a town and the angels sent to stop them. So definitely pick up one of these. They're all available on Amazon or barnesandnoble.com. So if you have children, you might want to get them to vacate the premises, because I'm going to be talking about some truly weird, disturbing, and bizarre stuff. So DC Comics has this new series out called Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing by Matthew Rosenberg. And number 4 just came out today. And it's got this really weird sequence in it and also really bad artwork, but more on that later. So in this sequence, in this story, it's Joker doing his whole sad clown thing. We already saw this in the War of Jokes and Riddles and also in Going Sane, so I don't know why we have to rehash this, but we are. And basically, there's a scene, and I'm not making this up, where Joker is talking to a henchman, I think, and he's gained a lot of weight, and then the henchman says, "I think you're pregnant." Yes, Joker is pregnant, and it is confirmed. And Joker goes to see Dr. Phosphorus, who is not a medical doctor, by the way. Dr. Phosphorus is, in fact, a nuclear theorist. He studies physics and atomic energy. That's how he got his powers. You know, they could have used the Crime Doctor, or Professor Pig even would have made more sense. But no, we're going to go with someone who just has the name Doctor in his name, and we're going to go with that. But anyway, so then it turns out the Joker has, later in the scene, or you know what, I'm getting ahead of myself. If you want proof, yep, there it is in all of its glory. So they did this whole sequence, this whole scene, and now a few people are commenting, "Oh, it's just a joke, 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 it's just a joke." I don't freaking care. It's not funny. Joker always has some twisted logic to him, some bizarre way of making the crimes he commits seem like it's a good time, at least from a certain point of view. Even no matter how grotesque it is, he always has some sort of wry comment, a trick up his sleeve. It's never easy with the Joker, as Batman would say. And it just goes to show you how DC Comics and even writers like Matthew have really gone downhill. It's embarrassing that we're even having this conversation about a pregnant Joker. It's bad enough that they split Harley from Joker. So Harley went from Joker's sort of ultimate fangirl and his partner in crime to being then Poison Ivy's partner in crime and partner in other ways, because everything has to, have to have a political agenda. And now she's kind of like an anti-hero Deadpool wannabe. It's embarrassing that the writers that they are hiring are bringing us this drivel. And you know what? Maybe it's an editorial decision. If so, then the writer should go on strike. Because, I mean, normally I love talking about Batman. Batman is my all-time favorite superhero. I've gone on record as saying as Batman is the greatest literary figure to come out of the United States of America. Not with garbage like this. And yes, "Oh, Jacob, this wasn't a Batman comic. This is a Joker spinoff." Why is Joker having a spinoff? Like, it's fun every once in a while, but because the Joker movie was a success that gave a more humanistic approach to the story of the Joker and how he became who he was. That doesn't mean that I have to have a gazillion miniseries where he's the main character or a miniseries where he becomes the new Robin. It's embarrassing that DC Comics has sunk this low. It is a dead company. DC dead company, I believe, and I give credit to Eric July of the Ripperverse for doing that. He may not have been the first one to have said it, but he was the first one that I heard it. This sort of stuff, it starts when you fire or won't rehire amazing writers like Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns, they moved him over to the movies, and which was a mistake because he wasn't really good at handling the movies. But you know what Jeff Johns was good at? Writing comic books. And I've even said one of the last great Batman stories to come from DC Comics was Batman 3 Jokers. It was about Batman tackling Jokers from different generations, different types, and it was fantastic. And I just think that the fact that we have this way where we have guys like whoever is the current crop at DC Comics, where they're placating to a social media mob instead of their real fans. This is why I said I'm not buying. I don't buy comic books from DC or Marvel anymore. I mainly buy old stuff that's either on sale at my local comic book shop, or I buy them at garage sales or used bookstores. I don't even bother with the new stuff. Very rarely these days. Like I bought Batman One Dark Knight, which I wrote, or which I loved. I thought that one was actually really good. Jock did a fantastic job with that. I mentioned Batman 3 Jokers. Batman Spawn by Todd McFarlane is actually pretty good. But these mainstream stories where they want to engage in this way, where they're where for one thing they're retelling something. Joker has lost his smile so many times I've lost count. It's like, and I mentioned a couple already, so I won't rehash those, but it's just so dumb that we've come to this point where we're going to have a gross, obnoxious, poorly written and poorly drawn sequence where they can't even get the villain right. Like I said, Dr. Phosphorus was a nuclear scientist. He was not a medical doctor. That's how he became Dr. Phosphorus. His whole thing was he became radioactive, so he wanted to dip into Gotham's reservoir so he would poison the whole city. Batman managed to stop him, of course. And I think they've turned down his thing, and they make a joke about him being the atomic skull, which, yes, I get. Ha ha ha. Yeah, atomic skull, so similar to Dr. Phosphorus. Ha 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 ha. No. This is so dumb. They can't even get. They could have, like I said, they could have used the Crime Doctor. They could have used Hush. They could have used Professor Pig. At least they're on the peripheral of medical science. But with Dr. Phosphorus, it just proves this guy had no idea what he was doing when he wrote this story. I've said this over and over again. DC Comics is an embarrassment to when Denny O'Neil was editing Batman comics, when great minds like Grant Morrison and Chuck Dixon were writing the comic books, and even people who like, oh, but Jacob, the writer, he wrote some really great stuff for Marvel and DC in the past. Yeah, and they don't want to be forgotten, so instead of giving us more great stuff, they want to get high fives and likes on social media from people who don't even buy comic books. DC Comics deserves to be cut by Warner Brothers Discovery. There's rumors that they're thinking about not doing floppies other than Batman stuff, which, quite frankly, DC Comics deserves to lose all those characters. Same with Marvel. I'll say the same thing to Marvel. They deserve to lose all of those characters. They have taken what Bob Kane and Bill Finger created, and yes, I know the whole drama behind the scenes, but still, Batman is the greatest character to come from DC Comics. He actually, now he doesn't predates Superman as a character, but he predates Superman being in the DC universe. Batman was the first. He was the first headline character of their flagship magazine, which was Detective Comics. Now DC Comics, it's a shadow of what it once was. They're totally creatively bankrupt. They won't hire guys like me to write Batman who actually care about it. They won't bring back guys like Chuck Dixon, except for like maybe a little mini series. They won't bring back artists like Ethan Van Sciver because they disagree with his politics. But no, they'll bring in this mediocre, creatively bankrupt drivel that has no place anywhere, is not worth the paper it was printed on, just to get a few likes on social media. It's an embarrassment. It is something that us fans won't forget. They've clearly left us behind, and they clearly don't care about us anymore, and they should, because we're the ones who were originally supposed to be reading this stuff. And now I don't give a care anymore. I really don't. It's done. I'm over. I will continue to read old stuff and indie comics, but if there were rumors that Congress was going to pass this bill that was going to sort of curb how trademarks are done, and thus characters like Batman and Superman, at least in their Golden Age forms, were going to go into the public domain, I hope that happens, because I would rather read some randos fan fiction who actually cares about the character than what this guy who got too much information from Tumblr wrote. It's embarrassment. I've said that over and over again because that's what it is. It's embarrassing, and DC Comics should be ashamed. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up, that you'll leave me a comment and tell me what you think, that you'll share it out with your friends, and of course, consider subscribing to StudioJake. I cover all kinds of nerd and pop culture topics, including film, television, anime, comic books, and so much more. I hope that you'll also head over to my main website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I have even more news, views, and commentary. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, head over to my locals page. That's StudioJakeMedia.locals.com. It's the best way to support me. I'm trying to build a little community there. I have exclusive reviews and articles, so definitely head over there and check it out. And I'll see you next time, right here on Studio Jake.